Hey everybody, Sky the Guy here again. Um, One thing that I really want to focus on this channel, saying things that other people haven't said, or giving unique opinions. Uh, you know, potato potato basically. And there are probably hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube, plenty of other platforms as well, plenty of articles, telling you that you should quit TikTok and Instagram. And the majority of them definitely have the same reasons of, bad for mental health or yeah, attention span. It definitely messes with your attention span. But I didn't want to come on here and just say the same things as everybody else. I actually want to give a semi-unique take on getting rid of TikTok and Instagram, and I'll start with a more personal experience. When I got off of Instagram and TikTok, I I got so much more creative. It was so much easier to think of things. And I know how goofy that sounds, but I just developed a whole new way of thinking. Because now without TikTok and Instagram, I was bored more easy and more often. And boredom is pretty good for you, in my opinion. And yeah, you can kind of make a counterpoint, like maybe sometimes it's not okay to be bored, but what is in reality the downside of being bored? Because there is no real downside. Furthermore, when you're bored, as I stated previously, you get more creative. You think more. I mean, seriously, think about just sitting in a room. Would you be able to sit there and look at the wall and think about what color it was for like 5 minutes? No. I don't have Instagram and TikTok. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I can't do that. Your mind is going to wander. And that is totally chill. When your mind wanders is when you get some great ideas. That was, in my opinion, the most important part of it is that you get this newfound creativity. Another thing that you'll find is that you really learn how to make your own opinions again and learn to think for yourself. Um, I definitely think this is a weaker point. Um, on Instagram or TikTok, usually when you find a certain type of video stating maybe a political opinion or even an opinion like something like an outfit. You know what I mean? Like this outfit looks good. I guess it's really easy to look at those videos and look at all the support they have and all the comments and agree with it. And that's because it's tailored for you. It's an algorithm with a For You page, trying to see if you like this opinion or not. Chances are you will like the opinion. However, what I'm trying to say is that you gain your own special opinions and views on things when you don't have Instagram or TikTok. I think definitely you could find some unique points of view. Points of view, yeah, that's correct. You could find some unique POVs of certain opinions. And to an extent, yeah, you could find some good stuff and some wisdom. But chances are you're not going to find that much wisdom on Instagram or TikTok. So, another thing I wanted to add is that the stuff you read on Instagram or TikTok cannot be good for you. And wait, come on. I already mentioned this, we already went over this. Unique opinion, right? I want this to be a unique opinion. I haven't heard many people say this before, but again, I don't watch videos about quitting Instagram or TikTok. But the stuff you read on that app is absurd. Don't get me wrong, it's funny. But from time to time, my friend will show me a TikTok or an Instagram. It is the most insane stuff I've ever heard of like I don't even want to repeat it just to keep this video in a respectable light, I kind of want to keep this video clean. I'll throw up an image. I'll throw up nice. I'll put up an image of one of these posts and you could see for yourself like what I'm getting at. I mean, surely if you read stuff like that for the better part of a day, I'm not saying it's some like government thing. I'm not saying it's some mass brainwashing, right? But all these people making these independent accounts and all these videos of these, borderline insane captions, like you have to be dumbing yourself down to an extent. Come on, right? And that kind of reminds me, um, I mentioned how a friend shows me a TikTok or an Instagram. It's pretty depressing, but I was playing Smash at a friend's house, and I'm not fantastic at Smash. Whatever, kill me. Anyways, I was playing Smash, and I died. I lost all my stocks, and so did one of my friends. And this fool just boots up Instagram instantly. He dies. He goes, "Oh, I guess I have to do this now." Like, come on, you're kidding. But no, man, it's dead serious. People are so afraid of being bored that it just can't happen anymore. When you die in a video game and you have to watch all your friends play, I mean, calling out friends, pissing them off like, bro, what did you just do right there? That is so fun. And people are willing to overlook it and give it up for, some dumb reel that they'll show you and just forget later. Another thing, I didn't write this down, but this is just, off the dome, is the widespread unoriginality. Okay. I know that I was saying before that you can find some unique opinions or unique takes. And there's all those videos with the bizarre crazy captions. But another thing that people do is use the same language and it all catches on. I remember back to a time where one of the funny funny captions that everybody reuses, it was talking about like the crisp 20 in my pocket, right? I think we all remember those memes. That tainted my friend group for like a week or two, just hearing it over and over. And there's no way it doesn't happen in your guys' friend groups, if you're a random viewer watching this. Having to hear the same people make the same jokes all the time is just irritating to me. It's fine if you have like an inside joke and you make a callback. I love doing that. That shit is hilarious. But when that stuff is like all coming from TikTok trends, it's just like oh the moist crispy Hamilton. Huh? I heard that one before. And it happens all the time with all types of different memes. And I hear that language go into my friend group, and then my friends will show me TikToks, and it'll be like the same one. They could scroll like three or four more videos, and it'll just be the same exact, like, caption. It'll have the same, like, background of, some dumb photo of, like, Thanos or something. Anyways, the last thing I wanted to mention is how being without your phone kind of makes you lonely. And I'm not meaning at home, by yourself. I mean, fuck, you're already lonely. Like, what the hell? No, I'm sorry, that was messed up. But when I'm out in public and, everybody is looking down at their phones, it's kind of annoying and it's dystopian. And I hate using that word. I hate saying, oh, this is dystopian because everybody says it. You know what I mean? Oh, we live in a dystopian society. People have been saying that for ages about new technology, that we live in this dystopia. And, that's probably happened since, I don't know, the telephone was invented. You know what I mean? There are probably people predicting bad stuff about that. Just like how nowadays there's people who predict bad stuff about TikTok and Instagram. But, maybe this time it's different. Anyways, okay, let me just paint you a picture, okay? It's the fourth period of my school day. I'm inside my government class. Just US government. It was a senior credit, I just had to get it out of the way. So, I just remember being in that class, and the work is a piece of cake. I don't know if this is a universal thing, having a coach as a teacher, they just don't give a fuck at all. I would get my work done in that class, and I would look around. Hold on. I had like two friends from band, and the feeling. I was a junior, but I was in a senior class just because my counselor kind of messed things up. But maybe that's a story for another day. But you know how like seniors, when you're a high school senior, you kind of get to this point where you're like, yeah, I could talk to people and they're not gonna give a fuck. You know what I mean? When you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you're kind of shy about being in your class. But anyways, sorry, that was kind of off topic. But when you're a senior, you're fine with talking to other people. Like that, you kind of brush all that immaturity off your shoulder, and you're like, whatever, we have 1 year left, type of mindset, right? Nobody was like that in my class. There was maybe four or five kids down at the front who would talk to each other every now and then, but if the days weren't consistently marked by them sitting there just on their phones, you know, I can't, nobody did anything besides that. They talk once in a while and then they were on their phones for the rest of the time. And I was just like, holy cow. You know what I mean? It was just kind of absurd to me. The whole year that happened, I swear. And it was just really unfortunate because I mentioned I had friends from band. I didn't talk to them. And it's not because they're band kids. I'm a band kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying like I just didn't talk to them. It's just they were on their phones or they were sleeping, and I'm like, I don't want to disturb you. This one of the friends I had would just be scrolling in in his chair, and I'd mention something, he'd say what? I repeat it. He laughs. He just goes back to his phone. You know what I mean? It's just like, what was the point of doing that? You know? I kind of went on that whole tangent there. Sorry if anybody lost focus. But that's what not being on your phone. That's what it does. You kind of look around you and you're kind of like, wow, this place sucks. I have nobody to talk to. You know what I mean? And even the people you can talk to, they're on their phones. It sucks. Same thing happened for me in Spanish class. I was there. I would be bored as hell, and one day I just look around the table. I'm like, "What's up with you guys?" They're on their phone, but I was so bored. I would just be like, "Tell me about your day, guys." You know, just 'cause like, come on, get off your phone. You know what I mean? You ever at like dinner or something, maybe you have a younger sibling, and it's like, "Hey, the fuck, get off the phone." You know? Anyways, long story short, when you're off of your phone, you realize that everybody's on their phone and it's hard to communicate with them because, they just kind of look at you and then look back to their phone. It's irritating, yes. As much as I don't want to say it, I said it before. It's dystopian, yes. But, the more you talk to people, the more they might talk to you back, and the more they might just, get off their phone and talk to you instead of spending a whole period on Instagram or TikTok. And yes, I'll acknowledge just really quick, there are days where you don't want to where you don't want to talk to people, you're having a bad day. That's chill. Um, I guess that's the only good excuse that I could imagine, but Instagram and TikTok are not making it better. I cannot imagine that made it any better. Anyways, I think I said everything I wanted to say. Alrighty, well, before I end, one little quick funny topic. Um, I did this in the last video. I don't know if this is going to continue. I looked at my last statistics, analytics of a video. It got like 80 something views, which, let's go. But also, nobody watched past my funny outro segment. And, that's chill, so this might not happen in the future if this flops. How do you not like pizza crust? Are you telling me you don't like bread? There's something I'm getting lost here, you know what I mean? There is the satisfaction that you get from a pizza crust that you can't really get anywhere else. I love pizza crust. I just finished watching a video, the fool Ben Dean, are these the world's crispiest fries? Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. And he's eating this butter chicken pizza and he dips the crust. And I just thought to myself, how could nobody, like I have friends who don't eat the crust, and it's absurd to me. Like how? You don't like bread? You don't like breadsticks? What the heck? They're nice and dusty. They might have grated cheese on it or some of the cornmeal. And I get it if like the pizza's like really like crusty and you eat it and you need like a drink of water afterwards. That's totally different. But bro, like fat crusts, thin crusts, most places offer sauces at this point. I mean, come on, you can't find one good way to eat it? It is so dope. Pizza crust is so dope. Grow up, put on your big boy pants and eat the pizza crust. Okay, that was pretty stupid. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you if you made it this far. Um, if you did make it this far, I will see your name in the analytics. That's not true, but we could pretend like it is, so that means something to me. Hopefully that means something to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.